Welcome back, everyone. Today we're going deep into Power versus Force by David R. Hawkins.
Oh, this is a good one. It really
Yeah.
makes you think about, all those unseen forces shaping our lives.
It really does. Energy, consciousness, muscle testing. It's a lot to unpack.
Hawkins doesn't shy away from big ideas, that's for sure. And the implications are huge, if you really think about it.
Before we get lost in the details, can you give us a little background on Hawkins himself? What led him to this work?
Well, he had a pretty amazing journey, actually. Started as a psychiatrist, a really well-known one, too.
I read somewhere that he was even on the Barbara Walters show.
Right, and treating all sorts of, celebrities and VIPs. But then something shifted. He had this profound experience way back in 1939.
That's a long time ago. What happened?
He describes it as this awakening of presence, a moment of pure peace and connection. It completely changed his perspective.
Sounds intense. I guess you don't just bounce back from something like that.
No, you don't. And get this, he was just a paper boy at the time, caught in a blizzard, taking shelter in a snowdrift.
Wow. Talk about a moment of reckoning.
It was. And from that point on, he dedicated his life to understanding consciousness. Years of meditation, studying different spiritual traditions.
So how did he go from meditation to muscle testing? That seems like a pretty big jump.
It does, doesn't it?
Mhm.
But Hawkins was really into kinesiology, the study of body movement.
Okay.
And he started experimenting, using muscle testing as a way to tap into the body's wisdom, its connection to consciousness.
So he's using muscle testing to explore the mind.
In essence, yes. He believed the body reacts to truth and falsehood on a subconscious level. Strong muscles for truth, weak for falsehood.
So kind of like a lie detector test, but for beliefs and ideas.
It's the way to think about it. And that's how he developed the map of consciousness.
Ah, yes. The map of consciousness. We got to dive into that.
Mm.
What are some of the levels?
Well, the map ranges from 20 to 1,000, each number representing a different energy level. At the very bottom, 20, is shame.
Shame. So like feeling totally unworthy.
Exactly, leading to, self-destructive behaviors, a sense of disconnection.
That feeling of complete powerlessness almost.
Yes, and it's not just, feeling embarrassed about something. It's a deep-seated state of being. Can really permeate your whole life.
Wow. I'm starting to see how this map could be pretty revealing. What's next?
Right above shame at 30 is guilt. A lot of self-blame there. Remorse, punishment, whether of yourself or others.
So you're saying guilt is actually higher than shame? I'd have thought they'd be pretty similar.
There's a subtle difference. While they're both negative, guilt can sometimes be motivating. To change, make amends. Shame just keeps you stuck.
It's a nuanced point, but I see what you mean. So what comes after guilt on this map?
We go up to apathy at 50. Total lack of motivation. Hopelessness, like nothing really matters.
Oh, I know that feeling. It's a real energy drain.
It is. And Hawkins says desire is what gets us out of apathy. Desire for something more.
He mentions things like media and advertising sparking that desire.
It can, but it can also create a lot of unhealthy attachments if you're not careful.
That's so true. It's like you need just enough desire to get moving, but not so much that you get lost chasing external validation.
Right. Balance is key.
So what's the next level up from apathy? Do we finally start getting into the positive stuff?
We do. But first, we have to go through fear. It's at 100 on the map.
Still pretty low, but at least it's moving up.
And fear, even though it's uncomfortable, can actually push us to grow.
How so?
It makes us seek safety, security. Overcoming our fears can lead to breakthroughs.
I guess it's that whole feel the fear and do it anyway kind of thing.
Exactly. Think about, historical movements, people overcoming fear to fight for what they believe in.
Makes you realize fear can be a catalyst for change.
It can. And that leads us to courage at 200. This is where positive influence really kicks in.
200. So that's like the dividing line. Below that is mostly negative energy.
You could say that. Above 200, we start tapping into a more expansive sense of self.
A belief in our ability to make things happen.
Yeah. A willingness to take risks.
That's powerful stuff. Before we go higher, though, what's just below courage on this map?
Just below courage, at 175, is pride. Might sound positive, but it's still tied to ego.
Pride is a tricky one. Sometimes it's seen as a good thing, sometimes not.
Right. Hawkins points out how fragile it is. You're proud of your accomplishments, but then you're vulnerable to criticism, setbacks.
So pride can make you kind of brittle.
Yes. It can lead to arrogance, not a solid foundation for growth.
Okay, so what does Hawkins consider a solid foundation?
Above pride, at 310, is willingness. This is a big shift. A move from self-centeredness to a desire to learn, grow, contribute.
Willingness. I like the sound of that.
People at this level are adaptable, open to new experiences, driven by purpose, not ego.
Okay, I'm feeling inspired already. And what's above willingness?
At 400, we have reason, the realm of logic, intellect.
The thinkers, the problem solvers.
Exactly. But Hawkins emphasizes that reason, while important, isn't the end-all be-all.
So it's possible to be too intellectual, too much in your head.
Yes, it can actually block you from accessing those higher levels of consciousness.
Interesting. So where do we go from there? What's beyond reason?
That's when we enter the realm of the heart. At 500, we have love.
Love. Okay, now we're talking. This is where I get really intrigued.
And not just romantic love, but unconditional love. Compassion, forgiveness, that deep sense of connection.
That's a powerful energy. I can't wait to explore these higher levels in more detail, especially love and what lies beyond it.
There's a lot to uncover. We'll get into it all in part 2.
All right, we're back, ready to explore those higher levels of consciousness, especially this whole love thing at 500. What does Hawkins have to say about it?
This is where things get really interesting. Love, according to Hawkins, is a unifying force. Pure power, not force.
We're finally moving beyond that force stuff.
Yes, love connects us all, transcends the ego. It's not about, romance or sentimentality, but a way of being.
So seeing the world with compassion, understanding.
Exactly. At this level, judgment starts to fade away. You see the interconnectedness of everything.
And there's no need to control or manipulate.
No, it's about wanting to serve something greater than yourself, to help others.
I'm seeing the distinction between power and force more clearly now. Force is about dominating, controlling. True power comes from that deeper connection.
You got it. And it's a crucial distinction. It plays out in everything we do, our relationships, our work, how we interact with the world.
Speaking of relationships, how does all of this map stuff apply to how we deal with other people?
It's not about, analyzing everyone you meet, trying to figure out their energy level.
Okay, good. That'd be exhausting.
It is. But it's helpful to remember that we're all coming from different places, Someone might be acting out of fear or anger.
Because they're stuck at a lower level of consciousness.
Right. It doesn't make them a bad person, just means they're operating from a different energetic state.
So even when someone's being difficult, we can try to approach them with compassion.
It's not easy, but yes. It helps you respond with wisdom instead of reacting from your own ego.
Man, if everyone could do that, think of how many arguments we could avoid.
Right. And it's not just personal relationships either. Hawkins says this understanding applies to everything. Politics, business, even social issues.
Okay, I'm curious, how does this work in politics, for example?
Well, he argues that leaders who operate from force, driven by fear or greed, create weak attractor fields. It's unsustainable in the long run.
Because their power is based on coercion, not genuine respect.
Exactly. They might get temporary control, but it doesn't last.
So true leadership comes from those higher levels.
That's the idea.
Like,
Think of leaders who inspire us. Gandhi, Mandela. They weren't about force. It was love, courage, a belief in something bigger.
a vision for a better world, not just personal gain.
Right. And you see the same thing in business.
Really? Give me an example.
Hawkins even uses Walmart as an example.
Wait, Walmart? I wouldn't have expected that.
I know, right? But he argues that their success is partly due to aligning with, higher energy principles.
So not just cutthroat business tactics.
It's more than that. He points to things like taking care of their employees, creating a positive work environment, being customer-focused.
Interesting. So it's about more than just profits.
It's about creating something sustainable, something that benefits everyone involved.
I like that. Success with a purpose.
And speaking of purpose, this all ties into personal growth too. Hawkins says we have a choice in what we align with.
Meaning we're not just stuck with whatever energy level we're at.
Right. We can choose to focus on fear, negativity, or we can cultivate those higher energies, love, courage, joy.
We can choose to raise our own frequency.
Yes. It starts with awareness. What are your limiting beliefs? What holds you back?
And then consciously choosing to shift those patterns.
Exactly. Surround yourself with positive influences. Do things that bring you joy.
Makes you realize we have more power than we often think.
We do. And choosing those higher energies doesn't just benefit us. It creates a ripple effect.
So we're not just improving ourselves, we're making the world a better place.
That's the idea. It's not about being perfect. Life's full of challenges.
Right.
But we can choose how we respond to them, from a place of love or from a place of fear.
powerful stuff. So what about the connection between consciousness and health?
Hawkins was big on that. He believed positive emotions boost your immune system, promote healing.
So it's not just about feeling good mentally, it actually impacts your physical health.
Yes. And the opposite is true too. Negative emotions suppress the immune system, make you more susceptible to disease.
Wow. The mind-body connection is no joke.
It's not. And he even goes into things like acupuncture, Chinese medicine, how specific points in the body are linked to certain attitudes.
Okay, now that's fascinating. There's so much to this energy stuff we've talked about: shame and guilt, love and healing, and now even acupuncture.
It's all interconnected, and I think one of the biggest takeaways is that we have a choice in how we show up.
We can choose to operate from fear or from love, and those choices have consequences.
They do, for ourselves and for the world around us.
This deep dive has really given me a lot to think about, and I'm excited to explore those highest levels of consciousness, the realm of genius.
Me too. We're about to unlock some serious potential.
Okay, we've made it. The peak of the mountain, the realm of genius. I'm ready to be amazed. What does it take to get to this level?
You know, what's really interesting is that Hawkins doesn't see genius as like this exclusive club.
Oh.
He says it's in all of us, a potential waiting to be tapped into.
I don't know about that. I mean, I try to be open-minded and all, but genius level.
Hear me out. He makes a distinction between, regular intelligence like IQ scores and all that, and what he calls genius.
Okay, there's a difference.
Genius is more about accessing a higher state of consciousness, where creativity, intuition, those flashes of insight just flow.
So it's not about being a brainiac. It's something else.
It's a different kind of intelligence, yeah. Think about those moments when you have a sudden breakthrough idea out of the blue.
Oh, those aha moments.
Exactly. That's your genius peeking through.
But they're so random. Can we really cultivate that kind of genius on purpose?
Hawkins says we can, by removing the obstacles in the way.
Obstacles like what?
Mental clutter, limiting beliefs, fears, all that stuff that blocks us from accessing our full potential.
So it's like we need to declutter our minds to make space for genius.
Perfect analogy.
Yeah.
It's about creating that inner space for creativity, intuition, all of that to flourish.
And it's not just about clearing out the bad stuff.
Right. You have to cultivate the good stuff too. Peace, joy, love, those high energy emotions create fertile ground for genius.
There's that high energy theme again. It really does seem to be the key.
It's fundamental to Hawkins' work, absolutely. And when it comes to genius, he's also big on dedication and passion.
Meaning you have to work at it.
In a way, yes. It's about finding that thing that lights you up, that makes you come alive, and pursuing it with everything you've got.
So genius isn't just some gift you're born with.
It's a combination of things. Natural talent, sure, but also the willingness to put in the effort, the passion that fuels you.
And aligning with your highest potential, like we talked about.
It all ties together. It's about tapping into that inner drive to grow, to learn, to create.
So it's not just about achieving great things for yourself.
No. Hawkins believes it's about serving the world, contributing to something larger than yourself.
Using your unique talents to make a difference.
Exactly. And that can take many forms. Art, music, science, whatever your passion is, it's about letting your light shine, letting your gifts benefit others.
Wow. When you put it like that, it really makes you think about all the potential out there in the world.
It's inspiring, isn't it?
Yeah.
Imagine if everyone tapped into their genius and used it for good.
What a world that would be. This whole deep dive has really been mind-blowing. Exploring the depths of consciousness, the power of our thoughts, the potential we all have.
It's quite a journey. And ultimately, I think one of the most powerful takeaways is that we have a choice.
A choice in how we show up in the world.
Yes. Do we operate from fear and force or from love and power? Those choices shape our reality.
Our personal reality and the reality we create together.
That's right. And it's a responsibility we all share.
Well, this deep dive has left me with a lot to think about, that's for sure. I'm feeling inspired to pay more attention to my thoughts, my choices, and to really tap into that higher potential within myself.
That's what it's all about, becoming more conscious creators of our own lives.
And Hawkins leaves his readers with a really profound question. Who am I? It seems like a good one for all of us to ponder.
It is. It's a journey of self-discovery, a quest to uncover our true nature, and to embrace all the possibilities that come with that.
Well, thank you for joining us on this deep dive into power versus force. It's been an incredible exploration of human potential.
My pleasure.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep choosing those high-energy paths that lead to a life of purpose, joy, and limitless potential.
And don't forget, that genius within you is waiting to be unleashed.
See you next time.
Did you get any of that?